Have you ever felt yourself feeling like you need someone to talk to? Maybe you're in the middle of a life crisis or transitioning in your job and just feel alone and want someone to talk to? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to introduce you to someone who I think can help you with that. Hi, I'm Cynthia Grimes, an associate broker and realtor serving the 6 counties surrounding Westminster. And I'm going to introduce you to Carrie Mead with Curiosity Life Coaching. This is Carrie.
Hi.
Okay, Carrie, would you tell us about yourself and the services that you offer?
Sure. Thank you, Cynthia, for having me on your live stream today, first of all. I am a professional life coach with a master's degree in counseling. So I help people in the middle of midlife transitions. I help people navigate successfully through transitions in life. And transitions may be anything from relocation or buying a new house, or heading into retirement, or maybe your children are leaving home, perhaps you're going through divorce or bankruptcy. All kinds of transitions happen in life. And so I help people navigate those trials successfully.
And out of those issues that you mentioned, what are some of the most common? Is there one that's more common than another that you see people for?
Yeah, I see a lot of people who are really unhappy in their jobs. That's a big one. People are going to work every day and feeling really unfulfilled or unhappy either with the line of work that they're in, or the people they're working with, or their direct management. I also see people that are getting divorced or going through rough patches in their relationships, and retirees. Sometimes retirees have been really anxiously awaiting this time for their life, and then they find out that they feel maybe depressed or not as fulfilled as they thought they would be without their work.
I guess it must be shocking to retire and then all of a sudden you have nothing to do when you were busy every day.
Yes.
And then, obviously personal relationship problems or divorce, those are difficult challenges too. I love my career, so I don't know what it's like not to love your career, and I'm sure you love yours too.
Yeah.
Having worked with Carrie, I know that she loves her career and she's very easy to work with, and I think that's so important to people. So that answers my next question I had for you is, do you do business coaching? Or maybe it didn't answer that question. You're talking about transitioning or helping someone who doesn't care for their career, but do you help someone who maybe loves their career to help them set their goals and take their business to the next level?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, people come into coaching for all different reasons, but when someone is looking for a business coach, it's usually because they're doing well in their job, but either not as well as they want to be doing, or they want to just keep growing up and going up that ladder. So in business coaching situations like that, then we're looking at goals. What are your specific goals, and what are the steps you need to take to move forward with those goals? And I can help people set up their goals and keep them accountable. That's a really big thing. We can all be really good at setting goals. We're not all great at sticking to them.
Right.
And making plans that are sustainable, because we want to have sustainable action plans that you can carry through your days, not just, it's not a quick dash to the end.
Right, definitely. It's easy to make goals, but it's hard to stick with them, especially if maybe you hide them away after you write them. I know I've got to keep them in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's always great to have someone to hold me accountable and to make sure that my goal is smart and measurable, and that I can stay on track with it so that I can scale it, I guess I could say, and adjust it when I need to. So those would be things that you would do?
Absolutely. And it's also helping people understand their why. Why are they doing the things that they're doing? And when we face challenges, sometimes we forget why we're doing what we're doing, or we want to jump ship and change course. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you've had a personal realization that your why has shifted, but a lot of times it's just resistance or fear that makes us want to jump ship.
I totally agree with that. I think it's so important to know what that why is, because when you know what the why is, then every day when you get up, you know why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I guess it would be really confusing if you didn't know what that why was. So I understand that. That's great. So what would you say is the difference in life coaching and business coaching and being a counselor? And you do all of them.
Yeah. So counseling really is a medical model. Like, the counseling profession is based around medicine. It's a licensed profession, and it's a profession that typically takes health insurance. So there's a lot of confines that come with counseling, and people usually come in crisis for depression, anxiety, panic attacks, OCD. They're lost, they're hopeless. A lot of times people are fragile. Maybe they just got a terrible health diagnosis, for instance, and life is falling apart, and it's quick, and it's quickly changing for them. And life coaching is really not that way. When people come into coaching, most often life is going okay, but they want it to be going better. And so that's a really distinct difference. When I'm coaching somebody, I'm not digging into their history. I'm not looking at their childhood traumas or, all the triggers that set them off for their anxiety. I'm looking at them as a capable, strong, independent person who can achieve the things that they want to achieve. When I'm working in a counseling situation, it's possible that the person is vulnerable and fragile and really does need a lot more hand-holding and attention. So for me, it's important to distinguish if you're coming in for counseling or for coaching, and I will help you make that decision if you're not sure for yourself. What I always tell my coaching clients is I can't be both. I can't be your counselor and your life coach. If I think that you need counseling, then I'll refer you to counseling.
Well, that's interesting because as I'm listening to you talk, I'm thinking you can be a strong and independent business person, but yet still go through that life crisis or transition and find the need for both. But you don't do and cover both ends with the same person?
Correct. Right. Yes.
And why is that?
There's a bunch of regulations around dual relationships that you really want to be in one relationship with your client, and whether that relationship is a coaching relationship or whether that relationship is a counseling relationship, you need to decide at the beginning.
Okay. And something I found really interesting on your website is that you're a Reiki practitioner. I never heard of that before, and I was very interested when you told me some things about it. So can you share with everyone what that is?
Sure. So for those of you who don't know what Reiki is a natural form of healing that developed in Japan about 100 years ago. Dr. Mikaya Usui developed this form of meditation, prayer, and energy healing called Reiki, generally just called Reiki. People come to me, you remain fully clothed and you lay on a massage-like table. And I will hover my hands just above your body or touch my hands onto your body. And I will be saying a prayer for your highest good, for you to receive exactly what you need to receive in the session. And I get divine guidance and energy from divine source, and I help you feel better. So you might sleep better after a Reiki session. You may have clarity or insight on a problem you were facing after a Reiki session. You may physically feel better. Maybe you had a sore shoulder and that seems to have dissipated. I work from your head to your toe, and a session can last anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes or so.
Okay, that's so interesting. I want to do some more research on that myself. So can you do Reiki or practice Reiki with a something that you're coaching somebody on as well as someone you're counseling with, so you could mix those two?
I would not be doing Reiki on a client that I was doing counseling with. Like, the counseling would be the only relationship we would have, and it would just be a counseling relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of counseling, how about you share a tip with us? Would you be willing to do that today?
Sure.
I think one of the most challenging things is communication, because we all communicate in our business, in our personal lives. So I thought maybe you could tell us and share a great idea for a tip to be a better communicator.
Sure. So I was thinking about this, and I think the most important thing to think about in communication is the skill of active listening. So many times when we're talking to people, we're really only half listening because we're thinking about what are we going to say in response to what they're saying. We're formulating our answer, or maybe we're formulating a rebuttal, or maybe we're thinking about a time that we had a similar situation and we can't wait to tell them about that. So think about, in communication, being really present with the person who's talking to you and being really open to what they're saying without formulating how you're going to respond to them. And imagine what that can do in a conversation, how the person's going to feel seen, heard, and validated because you are giving them your full attention and you're not thinking about how you're going to respond. You'll have time to respond, and there'll be a place for that, but just saying to someone, I hear you and I understand what you're saying, can be really powerful. You don't have to have the answer, and you don't have to have the perfect answer, but people need to be heard.
And that's so important to me when I communicate. It means so much to me, especially in a personal relationship, when the person says back, I hear how you feel, and here's how I feel. Even if they disagree with me, it's okay. I just want to know that they heard me.
Correct.
But now looking at it in a different way, as I'm sitting here talking with you today, I'm only half hearing you because I'm nervous about being on video and what am I going to say next. So you're so right. So when it comes to business, I think I would really have to practice to make sure I'm not being nervous about what their expectation is or what question they might ask me next. And I think I do okay with that when I'm not on camera, but I'll really be paying more attention to that to make sure.
Well, I think it makes perfect sense, and this, this is a new experience for you. It's an intimidating experience. It can be, so it's natural and it's normal, and that's okay. The cool thing is you have that awareness as we're talking about that, and how can you make changes if you don't have the awareness?
Right, and the reason that we're taking the time to share these videos is we want to get to know you. We want you to get to know us, and by building that relationship, it builds trust. And don't think we're not scared, because it is kind of scary to sit in front of the camera where I know, at least me, I'm judging myself and what I look like, but this is what we do in our business, and it's so important. So that's why we're here today, and we learn right along with you sometimes. Let's see, what other question do I have? Well, where can they find you? How can they reach Carrie Mead and Curiosity Life Coaching if they want to learn more about your services?
Sure, yeah, you can just hop over to my website, which is www.curiositylifecoaching.com. You can find me on Facebook under Curiosity Life Coaching and Reiki, or Instagram, Curiosity Life Coaching and Reiki. I'm happy to receive phone calls, 410-259-9148.
That's great. And I heard on Instagram you got an award or something?
Yeah, I was recently in Parade magazine as one of the top 25 inspirational Instagram accounts to follow.
So how cool is that?
That
We
is
always
cool.
need some good inspiration every day.
Very cool.
So please reach out to Carrie with Curiosity Life Coaching. And don't forget about me for your real estate needs. And actually for any questions you might have within the community, because I want to get to know as many people as I can in the community. So thank you so much for watching our video. Please click like, share, comment, and have a great day.